know I said I wasn't going to do this deck again for a while, but I just recently did an online regional tournament last night, and I got top cut with it. Here's the proof. There you can see I got 13th place out of 150 plus people. Yeah, sure, it's not as big of a milestone as it would be if it were in person, since those can range between 500 to 1,000 plus. But I still got my invite to Nationals, which is a personal milestone for myself. And, you know, I'm going to showcase the deck that got me my invite. Plus, you know, some of the guys from the group were heckling me to bring you the profile, so we're just going to jump right into it. So the standard for the Tenpai Dragons hasn't changed from the previous ones. You know, we've seen this list before. You guys know what these cards do. No reason to explain it. And, you know, still running the Magnamut because it's Magnamut. Yeah, this ratio has always worked for me. I'm actually thinking of putting Phaedra to 2 instead of 1, because there has been times where I wish I had a second, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But I definitely need to get a third Genroku for sure. Now into the part that did change quite a bit. I have 2 Kashtira Unicorn, 2 Fenrir, and 1 Rise Heart. I consider that this part my plan B of the deck, because obviously Dimensional Barrier is a thing. So if I get out Unicorn, search out the continuous spell Rebirth, and then get out Fenrir, and Fenrir gets to Rise Heart, and, you know, I get into my Tenpai Dragons, and then they Dimensional Barrier me to not be able to kill them that turn with my Synchros. My plan B is to go into my Exceeds monsters with this guy, or Exceed monster. I'm only running Shangri-La. As, you know, a good plan B for next turn if I'm not able to kill them with the power I have on board. So this definitely did help out, but depending on the matchup, mostly with Malice, then I just side out the whole thing and just put in my going first cards. So it's a good way to kind of shake people up a bit. And the hand traps are 3 Droll and Lockbird, and 3 Ash Blossom, and I'm only running 1 Mel Charmy Fluos, because I only have the 1, and Scott gave me this copy, so I'm going to use it because you know, I want to. And it's a good cross-out target. Droll, it was fantastic in this format, or this tournament, I should say, because I did face a lot of Ryzeal, and it definitely came in clutch. And Ash Blossom is just Ash Blossom. And the last monsters I'm running in this are 2 Kumungus. Again, it was an absolute boss against this format, because I literally had a guy I went up against with Ryzeal. I Droll and Lockbird him, and he was only able to end on 1 detonator, and then next turn came, and I kaiju'd him, and he literally scooped the match. It was glorious. So yeah, definitely run Kumungus or any kaiju that you wish. Now into the spells, this is standard, only 1 of both Sangen cards, because we can only have 1 of each for some reason, but you know, I get it. You know, people hate this deck. It's absolutely bonkers. But still, I wish that they didn't hit both Chandra and Cayman. I'd be fine with Chandra, but Cayman, come on. That was a little too far, Konami. But that's my opinion, you know, hate me if you want. And then for the Kashtira monsters, 1 Pressure Planet, 1 Birth, just for extra extension, and then 1 Terraforming. And then going into the support cards, it's the going second cards. The VP of the entire deck was Ultimate Slayer. This card saved my ass so many times and got me so many wins in this tournament. If I had to attribute any card, aside from the Tenpai Dragons, obviously, that got me 13th place, it's Ultimate Slayer, hands down. I'm absolutely glad that I was able to switch over to this card. Then 2 Regeki, 2 Lightning Storm, pretty standard, Forbidden Droplet, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Call by the Grave, and 1 Pot of Prosperity. And the last cards in the entire deck are going to be 3 Infinite Permanents, because they're literal hand traps, as Scott would say. Alright, now into the extra deck. I'm not going to go too far into it, because, you know, we did obviously we did cover this quite a few times, so I'm just going to talk about the cards that, you know, made the deck work well. First off, Black Rose is the greatest card to ever exist, and it actually did win me a game, and I was very proud of it. It was against a Malice player, and he was able to stop some of my plays, and I went into Black Rose and popped his board, and thank goodness for me is that he bricked his next draw, so I was able to just go into my Tenpais, you know, next round. Meteor Burst never came up, but still wouldn't run the deck without it. And then one Black Winged Assault Dragon. This card was surprisingly good against Malice, because you obviously need to pay life points in order to, you know, activate their effects. So if you're able to get this out, every time that they activate a monster effect, which they do a lot, you inflict 700 points of damage to them. So a good amount of times, they're going to be paying 1,000 plus per effect that they use. So that's great in and of itself. I was able to get this out and pretty much stump my opponent for making plays, and he just scooped the round and went on to game 2, and I proceeded to end that to win that match. So yeah, definitely a card that people are sleeping on. Obviously Seals, because it's Seals. Shangri-La for the Kashtira package. And then for the Ultimate Slayers, I got Entis, Garura, Agulator, Tri-Brigade, which is the one I use the most, surprisingly, because I did face a lot of Malice. And then one Gold Cloud Beast. I never used it, but in case I go up against any Synchro decks, I'm glad I have it. Now into the side. Chaos Hunter. Malice, it was again a game winner. You know, my second to last round was against Malice, and I put this on the board when they had a chance. One interaction that they didn't understand is that when I tried to activate this in hand, they impulsed it to they dominused it to negate its effects, but they didn't have a trap in their graveyard, so it didn't destroy it. And then when they special summon again, I just use his effect again. I'm just glad I had enough cards in my hand to discard. Otherwise, I would have probably lost that game. But yeah, Chaos Hunter, I'm actually thinking of bumping it up to 3. 2, Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood for time. Second best thing in the side deck was Quackamiru Draco. When I sided this in, when I decided to go first, it was literally the only dragon aside from Phaedra that I had in my hand, so I just normal summoned it and sat on it, and he couldn't get over it, so I just sat on it. I thought Malice was going to be the hardest matchups I was going to have, but turns out they were the easiest. Who would have thought? And then cross out Designator because it's cross out, and then 3 Judgment, 3 evenly matched. I never saw this, and halfway through the tournament I saw the flaw of putting it in, so I'm actually going to annex this from the deck, and you can replace it with literally anything else that you want. And then 2 Dimensional Barrier. I'm actually thinking of putting Dimensional Barrier and Cross Out Designator into the main, because there are times when I wish I saw them more often than not. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile, guys. And I mean it this time when I say that this is going to be the last deck profile that I have. I mean, the deck's not even sleeved right now. I took out of its sleeve because I wasn't planning on profiling it, but then, like I said, the guys were heckling me to do it, so I was like, you know what, screw it, I might as well. So I didn't even bother resleeving for that reason. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down below for notifications. And if you want to see any other types of videos, please comment them down below. And until then, we'll see you guys in the next one.